Hello everyone, this is Creature, and welcome to my Creatures of Scenaria video. Alright, so you've set your eyes on Khu'Vuk, the spiky, screaming wyvern that looks like it flew straight out of a nightmare. This thing doesn't just look cool, it sounds like it's auditioning for a horror movie. But behind that terrifying design is one of the most interesting and misunderstood flyers in Creatures of Scenaria. So today, we're breaking down how to use Khu'Vuk the right way, how to make the most of its insane potential, and how to stop getting clapped by faster flyers. Before we begin, please comment down below which creature you'd like me to cover next, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Khu'Vuk is a Tier 5 flying wyvern, covered in spikes, claws, and bad intentions. Everything about it screams, "Don't touch me." It's easily one of the most intimidating designs in the game, and personally, I can't get enough of it. But under all that edge, Khu'Vuk isn't about brute force. It's a status monster, and if you play it right, you'll be draining enemies faster than they can figure out what's happening. Alright, let's start with what makes this guy awesome. Khu'Vuk's whole deal is status damage. It might not hit as hard as some of the bigger bruisers, but it makes up for it with pure attrition. Every bite inflicts 3.5 bleed and 1.5 poison, and considering how fast Khu'Vuk bites, that's actually insane. You can stack those effects ridiculously quickly, and once that bleed starts ticking, most creatures will be done for. And get this, even if something tries to attack back, they're still taking damage. Those spikes on Khu'Vuk aren't just for show, and will deal 2.5 defensive bleed every time someone bites you. So even when you're trading blows, your opponent's health bar is melting away. Then there's Energy Breath, which slows down enemies. That's super handy because, let's be honest, Khu'Vuk's not exactly winning any races. Slowing your opponent keeps them in range just long enough for you to get your bleed and poison stacks going. And don't sleep on Spite either. It's one of those abilities that you just want to use every cooldown cycle. It boosts your DPS in fights and helps you finish off anyone who's trying to stall you out. Now here's a sneaky tip. Khu'Vuk can actually become bleed immune with the right setup. Yeah, you heard that right. That's huge for a status-based creature, especially since most aerial fighters rely heavily on bleed stacking. More on this later.
Alright, so Khu'Vuk sounds like a beast, and it is, but it definitely has its flaws. First off, it's slow. Like, really slow. That's the curse of every Tier 5 flyer, and even if Khu'Vuk isn't as much of a sitting duck as Rayquaza or Parahexilian, it just doesn't have the speed to chase down smaller, faster targets. You'll usually find yourself in fights where enemies hit and run, and unless they get greedy, you won't be able to finish them off. This means Khu'Vuk works best when it's being attacked. It's a counterpuncher. You want people to come to you, take a few bites, and leave bleeding for their trouble. If you try to chase Tier 3s or 4s around the map, you're just going to burn stamina and get frustrated. The second big issue, it's not as tanky as it looks. Sure, it's a big Tier 5, but its weight is actually pretty low. To put it into perspective, it weighs the same as an Umbraxi, which is a Tier 4 flyer that's way faster. So, don't expect to win any shoving matches against heavier creatures. And then there's the hitbox issue. Khu'Vuk's model is massive, long tail, wide wings, big body, which means your hurtbox is also massive. You'll get clipped by attacks that other flyers could probably dodge. Combine that with low speed, and yeah, terrestrial creatures can and will smack you out of the air if they've got Wing Shredder, making Khu'Vuk unusable for super behemoth hunting. Now for the fun part, the build. Most players go for powerful Elder, and honestly, it makes sense. It buffs your damage and weight, both of which Khu'Vuk uses well, but I like to go a little off meta with this one. Try Gentle Elder. It bumps your bleed resistance up to 50%, which you can then push to a full 100% bleed immunity with the Astral Quetzal plushie. That means you're completely immune to bleed. Goodbye, annoying meta flyers. On top of that, Gentle Elder gives you better health regeneration, which is amazing for long fights. You'll be able to heal back through chip damage while your opponent slowly bleeds out. For traits, health is the top pick here, since you want to stay alive long enough for your status effects to do the work. Pair it with weight for extra tankiness. Alternatively, one could consider going damage and weight for kind of a hybrid build between regenerator and damage dealer. As for plushies, like I mentioned, Astral Quetzal is a must for that bleed immunity. For the second slot,
You can go Heart Plushie if you want even more regen, or Void if you want to lean into raw damage. Either way, you're turning Khu'Vuk into a tanky nightmare that's really hard to kill. So yeah, Khu'Vuk's not about flashy aerial chases or one-shotting people. It's about pressure, persistence, and pain over time. You're not flying around looking for kills, but you'll for sure make whoever dares challenge you regret their decision. And once you get the hang of it, you'll see why people love this creature so much. It's stylish, it's deadly. What's not to love?
If you enjoyed this guide or learned something new, hit that like button and maybe subscribe for more Creatures of Scenaria guides. Until next time.